Hello. My name is Ashley Brown. I am a Central Florida realtor and I have been in the real estate game going on 5 years. Today, I am going to do a little story time and tell you guys about how I was able to purchase my first home at the age of 21. Yes. So not only was I legal to drink, your girl was starting her real estate portfolio. All right, so let's get into it. Also, honorable mention to my X line jacket. Absolutely love it, love it, love it. Show you guys the back. But I just wanted to make sure that I highlighted the designer of this. I'm telling you, this is a good quality jacket. And ladies, it has pockets with a zipper, might I add. Pockets with a zipper. That's top of the line. I'm just saying. It's top of the line. So I just wanted to, and I put the tag down here, and it'll also be below in the description for you guys to go ahead and copy one of these. All right, so the very first thing, the very, very, very first most important than credit and financing is the mindset. So the first thing you have to have is you got to have faith. You cannot operate in spirit of fear. I feel like I heard somebody recently say that faith and fear can't exist in the same space. And that I think was so true. So you got to have faith that you can do it, first of all. So that was the first thing. I had the mindset to say, really what happened. So how it worked, I was in an apartment. I've only lived in one apartment. And for some strange reason, I feel like I've missed out on something in life because I only have lived in one apartment. So that's crazy. It's really strange. It's a strange feeling or strange thing to feel like I've missed out on in life. But yeah, so I've only lived in one apartment. So when I was in my first apartment, I basically had one opportunity when they sent the notice to say that my rent was going up. My rent at the time was $599. So my rent was going up to, I think they increased it like $50. So at that point I was like, nope, gotta move. And I know that's crazy, seeing as how rental rates are 5 times what that was then. But yeah, even then I was like, okay, no, I'm not dealing with it. So a friend of mine that I work with, she basically told me about this, that would help, with me purchasing a home. So I went through that process of basically reaching out, and having them check my credit, finances, and all those things. So we'll get into a little bit more. But the first thing was the mindset. I was not scared to start the process. Like, little did I know, the advantage that I was, putting myself into at that moment because of the time that I bought, the amount that I paid for it, and just the equity that has grown, of course, over the years. So I didn't realize, how important that process or that step was that I was taking, but it definitely started the stepping stone for my investment portfolio as far as my rental properties or investment properties. So the first thing was mindset. The second thing was I started the process when my credit was in its early stages. So at the time I was 21. I didn't have any student loans that had hit my credit yet. I was still in college, a UCF alum Knights, go Knights. So yeah, I was still in college at the time. I didn't have that much on the credit. The only thing I had on my credit was, I think, my car note at the time. So I had not, really done anything to my credit to, cause myself to have bad credit at the time. So that was the second thing that, the second way I was able to purchase my home at 21 was because I had not done too much to my credit as far as getting into debt or, having things on there with late payments. I believe with my car note, I was pretty much always late, or I always took advantage of the grace period, so I was never late. So that was a good thing. So second thing was at that time, so that's also for anybody that is young, you're thinking about purchasing a property, you're thinking about, starting your real estate portfolio, you definitely want to do it before you get into a position where you've done, something to affect your credit score. So that was the second thing that caused me to be able to purchase my first home at 21. The third thing that I was able to do is once I went through, so I did say I went through a local builder. I'm not going to say the builder's name because I'm not promoting them, and just in case I have a bad comment, I'm not going to badmouth the company or whatever. So the second thing that I did was while my home was being built, because it was a new construction home at the time. And again, I said I was in college. So, I was in college and I was getting either grant money or, scholarship or student loan money. So I was using that money to put towards my furniture. So I had my furniture on layaway. Shout out to Ashley Furniture, of course, because her name is also Ashley. So I had my furniture on layaway and I was using my money from college to put towards my furniture. So by the time my house was done, I was just simply able to tell them, okay, scheduled to have my furniture delivered here. Everything was already paid for because, of course, when I left my one apartment, I was like, I'd rather get brand new furniture. So all of my furniture I pretty much gave away, and I was like, okay, I'm going to buy everything new. So that was another tip, was I was able to use my funds to put my furniture on layaway so that by the time my home was ready, everything was paid in full and I had brand new furniture. I mean, everything was brand new in my home. I didn't want to bring anything from my apartment. So the other thing that, the fourth thing that I was able to do to allow me to purchase my home at such a young age, a strategy that I took was, so remember I talked about mindset. So, and this applies to purchasing a home today. You have to be open. You have to be open to different options. So I ended up moving out to a rural area. I didn't know anyone out there. There was barely anything out there. Of course, over the few years, there has been a lot of developments, a lot of restaurants. Of course, there's plenty builders that have built out there and they are continuing to build out there. So, of course, that has helped my property value increase. But because I was able to move out to a rural area, I was able to take advantage of a loan type called USDA. So with the USDA loan, I put down $0. So it's a no money down loan. And that was definitely key at the time because, again, I was 21 and I was not, stacking up all of my money like that. Of course, I saved up my money for like furniture and things like that, but I didn't have, a ton of money to put towards a down payment. So one of the best things that I was able to do at the time was to take advantage of the USDA loan. So with the USDA loan, that was, again, as I said, there was no money down. And that definitely helped because also with the builder, the local builder, they were offering to pay for my closing costs, or they did pay my closing costs. So I literally moved into my home. I believe they made me pay like my first month's rent, which was another thing too with the USDA loan. It was also subsidized, which means that the government paid partial of my mortgage payment. So, and remember I said my rent when I was in my one apartment was $599. So once I got into my house, my mortgage payment was also around $600, I believe. And that was with the subsidized payment or portion from the government. So, and it has not even to this day gone up that much from that. So just to kind of give you an FYI of some of the benefits of, making purchases in real estate at a great time, before prices increase and go up. So that was definitely a good thing. All right. So we've talked about how I was able to take steps towards purchasing a home. So for one, I had the mindset, I had the faith to, hey, what will it hurt? After only living in one apartment, and then having my rent go up $50, that was the only push that I needed to start the home buying process. So I went ahead and reached out to a local builder. I was able to purchase a home in a rural area, so I took advantage of the USDA loan, which is no money down. They also paid my closing costs. At the time, of course, at 21, I didn't have much on my credit, so I had not done anything at 21 to, hurt my credit that did not allow me to move forward with the process. And again, I was open to the area. So I moved to a part of town where I did not know anyone. But because of that, I moved in with little to no money at all out of my pocket. So now let's talk about some of the mistakes that I made. So I've always talked about the importance, of course. For one, the one big part that I left out about this whole thing was when I went to the local builder, I did not have representation. So I did not have a real estate agent to help, to tell me about the meanings of different things throughout the process, to guide me through, to make sure that my best interest was, being looked out for at the time. So that was definitely a mistake by not being guided through a real estate agent. And I remember there was a time throughout the closing process, and there was supposed to be an appraisal done on my home. So as I'm going through and I'm signing the documents, and I think this was during one of my closings, because it was basically it was a new construction, but they had to first close on the land. So they bought the land first, and then they built on it. They built the home on the land. So I had more than one closing. So it was during one of the closings, and it had to be the second process. And there was an appraisal, and I'm looking through the documents because although I was 21, if I was smart enough to say, hey, I'm ready to come and purchase a home, I also had to know something. I'm not just signing documents. So I'm also examining and looking at things that I'm signing. So I'm looking at what's supposed to be the appraisal, and I looked at it and I'm like, this is not my house. Like this, I'm looking at the layout. I know the flow of my house. I walked it. I chose it out. I was the first person. They built 3 homes on the street that I ended up moving on. So I was the first one on that area. So I was able to pick out, which spot I wanted. So I knew exactly the layout of my home. So I'm looking at the appraisal and I'm like, this is not my house. So they were like, oh, okay, well, we'll just scratch it out. And I'm like, that's not how that works. Like, where is the actual appraisal for my house? So that was definitely one thing I definitely felt taken advantage of because I was so young. I didn't really know. And it just applies to really any, age is not always a factor. But when you're starting that home buying process, you don't know, a lot of things. So that is the importance of hiring a real estate agent to assist you that, is knowledgeable and that can help you throughout the process. So she basically scratched out the numbers, and it was just a whole ordeal after that. And I also spoke about on a couple months back, there was another issue that happened too. So basically, I told you there was 3 homes that they built. They basically bought this one lot and they split it into 3. So by them doing that, originally on that land, there was a home that the city had, or the county had torn down because I guess there was abandoned and no one was taking, care of it. So they basically then at that point, they fined whoever was the owner. So when they bought the land and split it into 3 parcels, of course, my house, and I'm assuming because my house was done first, my house actually ended up getting stuck with that fine, which I did not find out until last year. It's been 10 years. I didn't find out until last year about this fine. So luckily, this is the importance of getting title insurance, which, they basically make sure that you have during your closing and throughout the title company. But at that point, it was up to the title company to go in and determine who was going to pay it, which of course they negotiated the fees down and it's getting paid out of the title insurance. But I told that lady on the phone, listen, I'm not paying this. I'm gonna put you in touch with the title company that closed this deal, but I'm not paying this fee, and it was not my responsibility. So of course, it was just so many things that happened. It was definitely a learning experience, and it was definitely what catapulted me into getting into the business as a real estate agent. Due to my experience, I tell this story all the time. Because of my experience of purchasing my home at 21 and not having a realtor, that is what caused me to get into the business. So if I can take anything to share with anyone, is it's so important when you're going into starting your real estate portfolio or just your journey on purchasing real estate, for one, is the mindset, is that you just have to step out on faith. The worst that can happen is, you don't get a home, because of the way the current market is, you have quite a few offers you may have to put in before you get that one accepted. So, or worst case scenario, you end up going through the process, you buy a home. If you're not happy with it, you can either turn it into a rental property, you can Airbnb it, you can sell it, get your money back, but it's not the end of the world. It's like, just get something so that you can start earning equity, so that you can start gaining and building your portfolio. Going back to the mistakes, the other mistake that I made was when I got into my home, I was not thinking about the future. So again, I told you I was 21. So the most I did, I got into the home. But after that, I was not thinking about, okay, I need to now make sure I set myself up to purchase my next home. So once I got in my home, I was like, I don't need to worry about my credit score. I already got my house. So, I'm letting cards go, or, late payments hit and things like that, and not thinking about the future. Like, hello, you're going to need to add to this. Like, this is just your first purchase. You're going to need to make future purchases. So that's the other thing too, is you do all the hard work to get into that home. Keep up the work as far as your credit and your finances and your employment and your income coming in, so that you can add and build to your portfolio. It's not just a one stop thing. All right. So if you found anything helpful that you liked about this video, be sure to like it, and also subscribe to my channel. Comment below any comments about it. If anyone has anything about this video that you want to comment on, make sure to comment below, and I will see you guys next time.